Peace and grace to your heart, beloved child of God. You're here for a reason. This moment isn't random. Heaven set this up. The angels guided you here because there's something you need to hear, something urgent and meant for you right now, before it's too late. There's a kind of hope that doesn't shake when life does. A kind of hope that doesn't crumble when everything familiar falls apart. It's not optimism. It's not pretending things are okay when they're clearly not. It's not about waiting for life to go back to how it was. It's a strength that's born right in the middle of the storm, not after it. And when you carry that kind of hope, nothing can own your peace again. Most people hope for something, but unshakable hope is different. It's not hoping for, it's hoping in. It's the kind of hope that rests not on the outcome, but on the one who never changes. It's the hope that whispers, even if I lose everything, I still have everything that matters. Maybe you're watching this right now from a place of exhaustion. You've prayed, you've waited, you've believed, and yet you still feel stuck. You've carried disappointment like it's your new normal. But I'm here to tell you, this moment you're in is not and it's the invitation to build something inside of you that pain can't break time, can't fade, and fear can't touch, because real hope doesn't deny the darkness, it defies it. And when that kind of hope wakes up inside of you stop being a victim of life and start walking as someone who carries life. You become grounded, steady, and dangerous, not to people, but to despair itself. In this teaching, we're going deep. No fluff, no surface talk. We're going to uncover what unshakable hope really looks like and how to build it piece by piece until it becomes part of your spirit. By the end of this video, you won't just understand hope. You'll feel it alive inside you again. So before we dive in, take a moment and hit that subscribe button to Daily Motivation Prayers, because this isn't just another video. This is a journey. This is a space for healing, for strength, for truth. If you've been searching for something real, something steady, something that will help you rise again, you're in the right place. And I promise you, if you stay until the end, you'll leave lighter, clearer, and stronger than when you pressed play. Let's talk about it. The power of unshakable hope. Number 1, hope is a decision. Before it's a feeling, hope doesn't start when life gets better. It starts when you decide to believe before anything changes. It's not something you wait for. It's something you choose. You don't need a perfect moment to hope. You need a decision. A quiet moment where your soul says, even if nothing around me shifts, I will not sink. Most people treat hope like a reward, like something they'll feel once the pain ends. But real hope doesn't grow in comfort. It's born in the dirt, in the waiting rooms, in the nights where you have no answers. It's built in the silence where God feels far, but you choose to trust. He's near. Hope is not emotional denial, it's spiritual defiance. It's standing in front of what hurts and saying you don't win. It's refusing to let despair define your destiny, because feelings come and go, but decisions create direction. And if you can make a decision today to stay anchored no matter how hard the waves hit, you're already stronger than your storm. Maybe your heart is tired. Maybe you've told yourself you can't take one more disappointment. But this is where unshakable hope begins, right here, right now, when you stop waiting to feel strong and start deciding that you are. When you choose to believe that even in your weakness, there's still something sacred growing inside you. Hope doesn't mean you ignore reality. It means you refuse to worship it. You see what's happening, but you don't, and bow to it. You acknowledge the pain, but you don't let it speak louder than truth. You recognize the delay, but you don't confuse delay with denial. Sometimes the most powerful act of faith is just getting up one more time, looking at your life, and saying, I'm still here. And that matters because hope grows in those quiet moments where you refuse to quit, where you tell yourself, I'm not done yet. There's still more story left to write. So right now, wherever you are, make that decision. Don't wait for peace to show up before you hope. Hope first and peace will follow. Hope first and strength will come. Because unshakable hope isn't built on what you see. It's built on what you know. And deep down you know that no season lasts forever. No valley is final, no wound is wasted, and if you don't quit, you will see the purpose in what tried to break you. Hope is a decision, and today that decision is yours. Number 2, hope requires surrender, not control. You can't have unshakable hope while you're still trying to control everything around you, because control isn't strength, it's fear wearing armor, and fear always cracks under pressure. But surrender, real surrender, that's where power begins. Most people lose hope, not because God failed them, but because they couldn't let go of how they thought things should look. They had a timeline, they had a plan, they had expectations. And when life didn't follow their script, they assumed the story was over. But sometimes the story isn't ending. It's just unfolding differently than you imagined. Hope is not holding tighter. It's learning to open your hands. To release what you can't fix and trust that the one who began something in you hasn't forgotten how to finish it, to stop fighting for control and start resting in faith, because the tighter you hold, the heavier it becomes, and that weight will crush your peace if you don't lay it down. Surrender isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's saying, I don't have to understand everything to trust the one who does. It's looking at what you can't explain and choosing not to let confusion become your compass. Because when you live in surrender, you stop needing every answer and start noticing his presence in every question. There's a quiet strength that rises when you finally let go, when you stop begging for outcomes and start believing for alignment, when you stop trying to force doors open and start trusting that closed doors are sometimes divine protection, that delay isn't rejection, that silence isn't absence, that maybe this pause is the preparation you prayed for without realizing it. Hope grows in surrender because it's only there that your heart becomes light enough to believe again. You can't carry control and clarity at the same time. One has to go. So let it go. Let go of the need to make sense of everything. Let go of the thought that if you had done more, prayed more, tried harder, things would be different. Let go of the guilt that tells you you're behind. You're not behind. You're being built. The power of unshakable hope is that it teaches you how to rest while the world rushes. It teaches you to breathe while waiting, to trust while not knowing. And in that stillness, you discover something. You were never meant to carry all of it. You were meant to release it and walk light. So right here, take a deep breath. Let your shoulders drop. Let your heart unclench. Say it quietly, I surrender. Because the moment you release control, hope finally has room to live again. Number 3. Hope is built through the breaking. You can't develop unshakable hope in comfort. It's forged in the fire. It's shaped in the seasons that break you open and show you what's really inside. And I know that sounds heavy, but the truth is, the breaking is never meant to destroy you. It's meant to reveal what can't be broken. Every person who's ever walked in deep faith has walked through deep pain. Because faith isn't theory, it's muscle. And muscle only grows under pressure. The moments that tried to crush you were actually building capacity. The nights that left you weeping were stretching your spirit, because you can't carry divine strength without divine breaking. Some of the greatest transformation happens when life hits you so hard, you have no strength left to fake it. When you can't perform anymore. When you can't keep smiling through it. When you fall to your knees and whisper, I can't do this. And heaven whispers back, you were never meant to do it alone. Hope doesn't skip the breaking. It redeems it. It turns ashes into foundation. It takes what was shattered and says, watch what I can build with this. The pieces of your past are not proof that you failed. They're proof that you survived. And survival is sacred ground for revival. If you've been through seasons where everything you loved was stripped away, where people left, where prayers seemed unanswered, where you had to start over with nothing but your breath, you're not disqualified. You're being refined, because hope built in the breaking carries a depth that comfort can't create. There's a beauty in brokenness that perfection will never know, because brokenness makes you real. It humbles you, it softens you, it teaches you how to feel again, how to see people again, how to love without judgment. And from that place, your hope becomes unshakable, because it's no longer rooted in circumstances. It's rooted in character. When life breaks you open, don't rush to seal the cracks. Let the light in. Let the healing flow through those places you tried to hide, because the parts of you that have been crushed are the very places where glory grows. Every tear watered something, every disappointment planted a seed, and one day you'll look back and realize the breaking didn't bury you, it built you. That's the power of unshakable hope. It's not about avoiding the pain, it's about discovering who you become through it. So don't curse the breaking, bless it, because it's the birthplace of everything strong, pure, and eternal in you. Number 4, peace is found. In the letting go, peace doesn't come when everything finally makes sense. It comes when you stop needing it to, when you stop fighting for control over what was never yours to hold, when you open your hands and whisper, I trust even here. Letting go isn't giving up, it's giving in to grace. It's the moment you release your white-knuckled grip on how you thought it should go, and discover that surrender isn't weakness, it's worship. It's the sacred exchange of your striving for stillness, your fear for faith. Some of the hardest battles aren't fought in action, but in acceptance. Not in doing more, but in allowing more. Peace begins when you stop running from what is. When you stop trying to rewrite the past or predict the future. And finally, breathe in the present, because this breath, this moment is holy ground. You don't have to understand the plan to trust the purpose. You don't have to feel strong to be carried. You just have to let the waves come. Let them wash away what was never meant to stay, because the ocean of peace only appears when the tide of control recedes. The truth is, some doors only open when you stop pushing, some healing only happens when you stop forcing, and some prayers are only answered when you stop speaking long enough to listen, because peace doesn't shout, it whispers, and you can only hear it in surrender. So if everything feels like it's slipping through your fingers, maybe it's because you were never meant to hold it. Maybe peace has been waiting on the other side of your letting go all along. Number 5, joy comes in. The rebuilding joy doesn't wait for perfection. It doesn't bloom only when life finally lines up the way you hoped. Joy shows up in the rubble. It dances among the ruins. It rises from the ashes like a song that refuses to stay silent. You learn real joy not when everything is whole, but when you dare to believe beauty can still come from what was broken. Because joy is not the absence of pain. It's the presence of purpose. It's the quiet strength that whispers, I'm still here, even after everything tried to take you out. Rebuilding isn't easy. It's standing in the aftermath with shaking hands, looking at what was lost and saying, I'm not done yet. It's laying one brick at a time with a heart that still remembers the storm but chooses to trust the sunrise. Because joy is what happens when you rebuild with hope instead of haste. You see, the secret of joy is that it doesn't depend on circumstance. It's born from connection. It's found in the simple, sacred things. The warmth of morning light on your skin. The sound of laughter that breaks through silence. The knowing that even if the world shifts, you still have a reason to sing. Joy doesn't demand that everything makes sense. It invites you to dance, even when nothing does. It doesn't wait for the pain to end. It grows right through it like wildflowers through concrete. And every time you choose to smile again, every time you choose to love again, you are rebuilding something holy inside of you. The process of rebuilding is slow and sacred. It teaches you to see differently, to find treasure in what remains, to bless the cracks because they let the light in, to celebrate progress instead of perfection. Because joy is not in the finishing, It's in the faith to begin again. Sometimes joy returns quietly, not as fireworks, but as peace that lingers, not as a shout, but as a sigh that says, I made it through. It's found in the small moments when your laughter feels real again, when your heart beats steady instead of heavy, when you realize the breaking didn't steal your song, it only changed its melody. So if you're standing in the ruins, wondering if you'll ever feel joy again, take heart, because joy is patient. It waits in the dust and the delay. It waits until you're ready to rise, and when you do, it meets you there, not to erase what happened, but to redeem it. Joy doesn't erase the story, it completes it. It paints color. Where there once was gray, it turns endings into beginnings and whispers through the cracks of your heart, you are still becoming. Number 6, strength is found. In the staying strength isn't always the roar that shakes the earth. Sometimes it's the whisper that says, I'll show up again tomorrow. It's not always in the climbing or the conquering. Sometimes it's in the quiet choice to stay when everything in you wants to run. There's a sacred kind of strength that's born in the staying. When you don't have answers, but you refuse to give up. When your heart is weary, but your spirit keeps breathing. When your knees are trembling, but your soul still says yes. Staying doesn't mean settling, it means standing. It means holding ground in the middle of uncertainty. It means choosing presence over escape and love over fear, because real strength isn't proven in how loud you fight. It's revealed in how deeply you remain. The world celebrates speed, but heaven honors endurance. Anyone can start when it's easy, but it takes divine courage to keep walking when the road disappears, to keep believing. When the miracle hasn't come, to keep sowing when the soil looks barren. Strength is the unseen power in the stillness. It's what holds you when everything else falls away. It's the hand that reaches through despair and says, keep going. It's the fire that keeps burning under the ashes of disappointment. It's the voice that reminds you you've survived too much to stop now. The staying season can feel endless. It can feel like silence, like the heavens have closed their doors. But what if that silence is not absence, but shaping? What if the waiting is not punishment, but preparation? Because every root grows downward before it grows upward, and strength grows the same way. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is not move. Not fix, not flee, just be. To sit in the ache and still believe there's meaning. To breathe through the questions and still trust. There's purpose to hold on to peace even when the promise feels far away. Strength doesn't always look like victory. Sometimes it looks like vulnerability, like tears that don't stop, but faith that doesn't either. Like staying open in a world that keeps trying to harden you, like showing up for the life you have, even when it's not the one you expected. Stay when it's hard, stay when it's quiet, stay when you can't see the end, because the staying is not wasted. It's sacred work, and one day you'll look back and see that the strength you prayed for was being built in every moment you chose not to walk away. Number 7. Love heals what fear couldn't. Love is the language the soul remembers even when the mind forgets. It's the sound beneath the silence, the light that keeps flickering even after the storm. Love is what remains when everything else has fallen away. You can spend years building walls high enough to keep the pain out, but love will still find its way through the cracks, because love isn't stopped by what's broken, it's drawn to it. It moves toward the wounded places and whispers, you are still worthy. Fear tells you to protect yourself, to hide your heart, to harden what once was soft. But love asks you to open again, to risk again, to believe that the tenderness you lost is still somewhere inside you waiting to return. The healing doesn't come through control, it comes through connection. It's not found in proving you're strong enough to do it alone. It's found in allowing someone to see you when you're weak, because love cannot heal what you keep hidden. It can only Touch what you bring into the light. Love doesn't always look like romance. Sometimes it's a friend who sits in silence beside your pain. Sometimes it's a sunrise that meets you after a sleepless night. Sometimes it's the steady breath that keeps you alive when your heart is breaking. Love wears many faces, but it always carries the same voice that says you are not alone. The power of love is that it restores what fear dismantled. Fear fractures, love mends. Fear isolates, love gathers. Fear hides, love reveals. And every time you choose love over fear, something in you returns home. You begin to see yourself not through the lens of loss, but through the lens of grace. You start to forgive what you once condemned. You start to embrace the parts of you that you tried to bury, because love is patient enough to sit in your shadows until you remember your own light. Love teaches you that healing isn't about forgetting the hurt, it's about transforming it. It takes the shattered pieces and turns them into windows, so light can move through where pain once lived. And in that light, you begin to see the beauty of what you've become. So let love in again. Let it meet you where you stopped believing. Let it wash over the fears that kept you small, because love heals what fear couldn't. It restores what pain tried to steal. It rebuilds what life tried to break. And when love finally fills the spaces you once protected, you realize you were never broken. You were being made whole. Ooh. If you've walked this far through the breaking, the rebuilding, the staying and the healing, then you already carry something sacred inside you. You carry proof that hope survives, that love restores, that peace returns, and that you were never too far gone to begin again. Every scar tells a story of survival. Every tear watered something true, and every moment you thought was ending was actually preparing a new beginning, because your story is not about what broke you. It's about what was built in you through it all. So keep rising, keep breathing, keep believing that your becoming is not finished yet. You are still unfolding, still awakening, still learning to see beauty where pain once lived. If this journey spoke to something inside you, if it reminded you of your own strength, your own softness, your own light, take a moment to share it. Leave a comment below and tell me which part reached you most. Your story might be the one that helps someone else keep going. Tap that like to keep the message moving. Subscribe to Daily Motivation Prayers if you want to walk with me through more moments like this. And if this word truly touched your heart, drop a super thanks to help keep this space growing, because this isn't just content, it's community, it's connection. It's the sound of souls remembering they're not alone. And together we rise.